Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome and thanks for attending this week's attorney webinar. I'm Cara Ongren, Marketing Director here at James Publishing. Today we'll be covering 8 tips for quick social media success. Rachel will be live tweeting during today's webinar, so feel free to follow along and ask questions on Twitter. We're at James Publishing and we'll be using the hashtag JamesWebinar. Okay, social media marketing is now more important than ever. In the aftermath of Google's latest algorithm update, which they called Penguin 2.0, branding is now a major search ranking factor. Google search places a premium on authenticity. So attorney websites that have a holistic brand have really held on or even improved their rankings and traffic post the Penguin 2.0 update. So the message from Google really is pretty clear. And that's if you want to rank and drive real traffic to your website, you need to build your online brand. This is why Google+, authorship tags, rich snippets, and social signals are now a huge part of the SEO equation. So today we're going to focus on easy ways to strengthen those social signals. So you've launched a blog, created a LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, maybe Google Plus profiles, but if you're like many attorneys, you might be asking, now what? So we're going to highlight 8 specific strategies that anyone can apply to their social media marketing efforts today and start seeing positive results almost immediately. So number 1, start with a plan. One of the biggest reasons attorneys fail with their social media efforts is that they dive in without building an actual social media strategy or plan. So if you want social media to really benefit your law firm, you must take time to determine what you want to get out of your efforts, naturally. And to do that, you can answer these questions just very quickly to help determine the best approach for your law firm. So these are just some basic questions that will really get you on the right track to figuring out your goals and what you want from your social media strategy. So the questions are, what are my goals? Obviously, that's a very, very important thing to know what you want to get out of all of this. Which social networks does my audience use? Number 3, what kind of content will I share? Important to think about that, and we'll get into that later. And what's my budget? Do you have any kind of budget for this? Do you have time to invest in a social media manager? Do you want to do it yourself? Do you want to hire an outside marketing firm? Those are all important things to consider. Number 2, start small. If you're just getting started with social media, it's important to resist the urge to be engaged on every single network right out of the gate. If you do, you may run the risk of spreading yourself too thin and potentially abandoning your efforts because we're all busy and it's tough to dedicate the time. So decide how much time you do have to dedicate to social media and really try and stick to it. It might be a good idea to pick just 1 or 2 social networks to get started. For attorneys, we really recommend LinkedIn and Facebook. If you only have time for 2, get involved in those 2. That's where you're likely to get the most out of your efforts. And once you master those, you can always add to it if it makes sense for your law firm and if resources naturally allow for it. Number 3, write share-worthy content. This is so important on social media because content really is king on social networking sites. You need to create real value for your audience. So in other words, you need to provide your online community with high quality, useful posts that they'd actually be willing to share with their contacts. And that's how your online engagement and exposure can really grow virally, naturally, organically. So the secret is creating content that informs, inspires, entertains, and educates your readers, fans, and followers. That's important to remember when you're posting anything online. And if you focus on that, the rest will sort of fall into place with your whole social media campaign. Next, vary the type of content you post. You can post about company events, achievements, general news, but you should also try and highlight the more human, less hard sell side of your law firm, and that's what social media is really great for. For instance, you could pepper your status updates with links to your blog posts or other blog posts that you think people might find interesting. Photos are great, videos, anything that you think might resonate with your target audience, because this can really encourage more of a two-way conversation with your followers. And that's obviously a great way to grow your online community and your online reputation as a whole. And the last tip here is listen before you engage. So this is an interesting one. And during a recent interview about social media engagement, a McDonald's executive mentioned that their social media team actually spent 3 months monitoring conversations about their brand before they actually started engaging online. And they discovered a lot of complaints about their products, actually. So they decided to bring in their customer service team to help sort of mitigate and manage their social media efforts. So now, when someone complains online, McDonald's responds and sometimes even offers up coupons that say, "You tweeted, we listened." And as a result of this, many customers take pictures of the coupon and they share it, and it really turns the conversation around into a positive thing. So approaching their social media efforts in this way made a huge impact on McDonald's ability to recover and really retain their customers. Now, I know your law firm certainly isn't McDonald's, but I think there's a lot to be said about listening to what your clients and potential clients are already saying about you online and really getting a sense of that before jumping in yourself and joining the conversation. Moving on, number 4. Find your voice and stick to it. Not only does your content, as we've discussed, matter on the social web, but your personality certainly matters too. So in other words, you need to be accessible and approachable in all of your social media marketing communications. Don't talk at people, talk with them, and make it clear that you want them to join the conversation. So, I mean, this is a really, really important thing in social media, because you want to be conversational while, of course, still being professional. But I think you can find your own voice and really embrace it. And this applies to your employees as well. Your employees can be your best brand advocates, so you should really make it easy and non-threatening, really, for them to talk about your law firm on the social web. So you can provide simple guidelines for them to follow to make it easier. And actually here I've provided a link. You can find an excellent directory of well-known company social media and blogging policies. You can click on that link later, follow that link, and you can really benchmark some things in these policies in order to develop your own law firm's guidelines. And it doesn't need to be anything too involved, but just providing those basic guidelines will really encourage and help your employees along. Number 5, acknowledge and recognize your audience. Social media is definitely a two-way street, and the power of social media marketing really comes from the relationships you develop and with your online audience. So, and hopefully that online audience will become brand advocates and talk about your law firm, champion it, and sort of defend it against naysayers as well. So with that in mind, you must acknowledge people when they reach out to you. And it's interesting because people interacting with brands online now expect that kind of direct and prompt interaction. So it's not only expected, but it's good business. So, I mean, you wouldn't want to ignore a person who walked up to you at a networking event and spoke to you. Hopefully not. So no one likes to be ignored, and social media conversations shouldn't be treated differently from in-person conversations, really. It's interesting because many of the most successful marketers make a point of responding to every single email, blog, comment, tweet, everything that is directed at them. So recognize your audience and make them feel important. Number 6, use tools to manage your efforts. There are a number of tools that can help you manage your social media efforts. Here at James Publishing, we use Hootsuite, to post updates across our various social networks, schedule posts, and create reports and analytics. It is a really, really great tool. But there are other similar tools out there as well, like Sprout Social, Buffer. You can save a ton of time with these scheduling and automation tools. I think they're definitely worth looking into. And on top of the social media management tools, you should set up Google Alerts for your law firm. And Google Alerts are very helpful in managing mentions of your law firm online, so you know what people are saying about you. And they make it easy for finding content on topics relating to your brand. So don't be afraid to embrace these kinds of tools. Number 7, integrate all of your marketing efforts. I know this is kind of a no-brainer, and you probably already know that all of your marketing efforts should sort of work together in tandem, and they should really present a consistent brand message and lead your ultimate marketing, and everything really should lead to your ultimate marketing goals. And social media is no exception here. You should cross-promote your various marketing efforts. So, for example, and it's critical to feed your blog content to your Facebook, your Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google Plus profiles. But you should also promote your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Plus with Connect with Us buttons, linking on your email signatures, on your homepage of your website, on your blog sidebar. And you can also include URLs to your social media profiles in all printed ads and marketing materials. It's just really about reminding people to connect. And the key is sort of to surround your audience with branded experiences and let them select how they want to interact with your law firm. If you give them options and make it easy for them to join the conversation in the way that they choose, it's a much more positive experience from their end. Lastly, number 8, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Now, just because your competitor is doing something on the social web doesn't mean you necessarily should be doing the same thing, though it's obviously essential to keep an eye on the competition. But by blindly following your competitor's path, you're marketing scared and marketing without real purpose. And I mean, plus it's likely that your competitor's initiatives won't help you meet your specific goals at all. So it's important to, of course, keep your competitors on your radar, but don't just blindly follow what they're doing. But on the flip side, it's certainly smart to get inspiration from others. And although you have to choose the social media approach that's right for your law firm, you can still get ideas by following others who are using social media well. It's great to get inspiration, just don't follow it without a plan. Okay, so we say this at the end of all of our attorney marketing webinars. Start today. It's easy to get started, and you'll start seeing results sooner the sooner you start. Creating and maintaining a high-quality social media marketing strategy can really boost referrals to your law firm and really just increase your overall online visibility. So thank you for your time today. And please feel free to contact us if you have any follow-up questions at all. We'd love to chat. Or if you need any help with your marketing efforts, we do offer social media management services geared specifically toward attorneys. So feel free to reach out. You can see our contact information there. Have a wonderful day, and please join us next week for another educational James Publishing Attorney webinar. Thanks so much.